Today we are going to do next few questions of CBSE sample question paper, Term 1 Science, Class 10. But before starting today's session, it would be great if you like this video, share this video and subscribe to our channel Acad Shala. This gives us a lot of motivation to keep creating these kind of videos for you all. Students, as I already told you before, that you have to give priority to your NCERT book with all activities, and your last year's question papers are converted into objective questions this year. And you also have to focus more on diagrams and then the NCERT exemplar. So the overall is that you have to give more emphasis on NCERT book in every corner of the book, on every word of the book, as well as the NCERT exemplar. Now let's start with the next question. The question says, examine the above figure and state which of the following option is correct. One small box in the figure is equal to 1 centimeter. Now children, you are seeing that they have given in the question that one box in the figure is equal to 1 centimeter. That means at the back of the diagram, you are seeing the small boxes, which says that one box is equal to 1 centimeter, which I have written on the board. And if you see that before this focus, that means how many boxes are there? There are 3. So if one box is equal to 1 centimeter, so 3 boxes will be 3 centimeter. Now we know that focal length is from pole of the mirror towards focus. So that means according to it, one box is equal to 1 centimeter and therefore 3 boxes, 3 centimeter. And we also know that is according to the rule, we keep the object towards the left side of the mirror, that is negative axis. That is why we have minus sign. So I have written focal length of mirror, that is minus 3 centimeter. Now, according to this, that if focal length is equal to minus 3 centimeter, and if we see the 4 options, among the 4 options, according to the answer which I have calculated, that means I can discard, that is option A and D, because it is coming out to be focal length as minus 6 and over here also minus 6. But the answer which I have calculated for focal length was minus 3 centimeter. Therefore, I will discard the option A and D and I will keep the option B and C to see which is the best option among the two. Now, according to the demand of the question, we have to also calculate the magnification. Now, we also know that magnification is equal to, that is height of the image over height of the object is equal to 1, because height of the object and height of the image are almost same. So that is object is kept at the center of the curvature and image is also formed at the point C, that is center of curvature only. But how? It is inverted, and that is why magnification is coming out to be minus 1, because of the image which is formed is inverted, and therefore image is real and inverted. So this is how we have to solve every question which is objective. That means you need to write, no matter it is subjective or objective question, you need to solve it like this only. Now let us go to the next question. The angle of incidence from air to glass at the point O on the hemispherical glass slab is. Now, in this type of question, you are seeing that we always used to see the point O over here. But in this question, they have given you the point O over here. So they have made this question a bit tricky. But if you know the foundation, the basic of the content of the topic, you will never ever get confused no matter they put up the trick in the question. So we see that we do not have any deviation at this point. Are you seeing any bending of light? Not at all. That means the angle of incidence is coming here and going straight. That means as it came, it went back also like this.
And that is, what is the reason? That is the incident ray at this hemisphere, that is glass, it is perpendicular. So that is why incident ray is equal to 0 degree. That is angle I is equal to 0 degree. Angle R will also be, that is refraction, 0 degree. That is light goes without deviation. And that is why, according to the demand of the question, the option chosen among the four will be B part, that is 0 degree. Hence, question finished. And whatever we see, we do the rough work over here and then go and choose the correct appropriate answer. Okay, next question. A prism ABC is placed in different orientations. Okay. A narrow beam of white light is incident on the prism as shown in the below figure. In which of the following diagram, after dispersion, the third color from the top of the spectrum corresponds to the color of the sky? Okay. Now, if you have read this question, first of all, you will keep it in mind, or you will see that they are saying something relation with color of the sky, and we know color of sky is blue. Okay, fine. Okay, now they are saying that from the top, the third color needs to be the color of the sky. That means it needs to be blue. Okay, now let us see among the four options which will be the correct one. First, we need to solve all these figures which are shown over here. Okay, this is the first prism. Now the incident light, white light is going, and now we will see with the dispersion. Now when the dispersion is seen, we see that from the bottom we write it VIBGYOR, and this way the sequence from bottom towards going upwards comes like this, VIBGYOR. But according to the demand of the question, let us see which is the third color coming out from the top. I see that 1, 2, 3, the third color is coming out to be yellow. No, so that means this is not the correct option. So I will discard this, the first one. Okay, now this is not coming out. Now the second one, oh my God, I am seeing it that they have kept it opposite. Oh, I think this can be 100% absolutely correct. But how? Let me check. Now, if it is coming out to be opposite image, of course, it will be opposite way writing the VIBGYOR also. That means from top to bottom. So, I write it VIBGYOR. Okay, let me search and see the third color. So, the third color is coming out to be blue, which is written VIB. So, according to the demand of the question, they have asked which is the third color coming from top towards bottom. So, the second option is coming out to be correct. So, I will choose B option with the second figure. It's done. Now, let us go to the next question. Okay, now children, this is section B, 25th question. Now, children, over here in this question, they have shown you two steps, beta. Now, they have also shown that this is limestone, this is slate lime, and they have heated over here. This is X coming out something product. And it goes like this in step 1 and step 2. Okay, to solve this step 1 and step 2, I have done my little bit of homework or the rough work over here. So limestone, I know it is calcium carbonate. So I've written CaCO3. Heated, okay, I've shown a triangle which shows itself it's a heat. That means I am providing heat to calcium carbonate. Okay, this gives you calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide with my prior knowledge. And this becomes the step 1 according to the figure shown over here in the question. So, when the heat is absorbed for any of the reaction, I know I have studied, I have a prior knowledge. It is said to be endothermic reaction. In the corner, I write down endo. Okay, the second step says that whatever the product is formed, that is the X1, which is here said to be calcium oxide, reacts with water in step 2, forming the slate lime. Okay, I also write the second equation over here for my rough hand side column. CaO plus H2O gives you CaOH whole twice. So this is slate lime according to the demand of the question. Okay, I have taken out slate lime also, and this is the step 2. So here I am seeing it that lot of heat energy is evolved. So lot of heat is there, lot of energy is there. So when the lot of energy is there evolved, it is said to be exothermic reaction. So I will write in the corner exo over here. So now I have done my job. Now what they are saying according to the question, identify the correct option from the given table which represents the type of reactions occurring in step 1 and step 2. Okay, my step 1, step 2 I have done over here. And now I will see which is the best appropriate option among the 4. Now let me check one by one. So A says the first step is endothermic, the second step is exothermic. Okay, that means the first is not endothermic, the second is exo. Absolutely wrong, not at all. Okay, B option says the first one is endothermic and the second one is exothermic. Not at all. This is also coming out to be wrong. So that means it is not. So see the tick mark and the cross. The C1 says the step 1 is endothermic and the step 2 is exothermic also. Okay, this is coming out to be correct. But I will also see the last option even. The D part says it is said to be endothermic. Okay, no, it is not endothermic, and exothermic, it is not exothermic. So this option is also coming out to be wrong. So the best appropriate option is coming out to be, that is the C1, that is endothermic and exothermic in step 1 and step 2. Finished. Okay, the next question. In which year is concentration of hydrogen ion the highest? Okay, according to this question, it will come in my mind, strike in my mind that they're talking about hydrogen ion. So hydrogen ion is basically what? That means it is indicating acid. That means if I see the pH scale over here shown on the board, now I have a range of pH value from 0 to 14 on the pH scale. So from 0 to 7 it is said to be acidic, from 7 to 14 it is said to be basic, and 7 itself is said to be neutral. Now when we move towards, that means below 7, it is acidic. That means there is an increase in hydrogen ion concentration. If we move away from 7, that is after 7, it is basic. That means it is decrease in hydrogen ion concentration. That means I have understood with the help of the pH scale that if the value of pH comes to be less, that means the least value, the pH value, the least value says more hydrogen ion concentration and very strong acid, that is acidic property increases. Now what we have to do it, we have to see that in which year is concentration of hydrogen ion the highest. Okay, I will check from the bar chart over here as well as the pH value. So I found over here that the least value coming out of the pH is 1. And in which year? That is 2002. Okay, so according to the demand of the question, I have to tell about the highest hydrogen ion concentration. That means the least pH value will tell you the highest concentration of hydrogen ion. So it was in 2002 according to the demand of the question. So I will choose the appropriate answer, that is A among the 4. This is also done, children. Okay, now the next question says, the diagram shows the reaction between metal and dilute acid. Okay, the 4 test tubes are given with the metals and the acid. Okay, and they are also asking what is the reason for different behavior of magnesium in test tube B. Okay, specifically in test tube B, they are asking the behavior of this magnesium. What is the reason behind it? About its behavior. Okay, now before going for any other options among the 4, first I will write down the equations, the reactions. Okay, according to the first test tube, it says zinc reacting with HCl. Okay, I write down the reaction. Zn plus HCl gives you ZnCl2 plus H2. Okay, the second one, that is Mg plus HCl gives you MgCl2 plus hydrogen. Okay, the third one, that is Fe plus HCl gives you FeCl2 plus hydrogen. Okay, the last one, copper plus HCl, there will be no reaction because of the reactivity series chart which we have studied before. Now I am seeing, so that means this one I will discard it. So I will not even see this. Leave it. I will only concentrate on the 3 reactions. Okay, among the 3 reactions, I'm also observing that hydrogen gas is evolved among all the 3 reactions. So that means if hydrogen gas is evolved, so I will go for the 4 options and I will discard where hydrogen gas is not seen. So I will read the 4 options and I am able to find that option number C, that means C, nitrogen gas, they are saying it is evolved. No, it is not. So I will discard this option C. That means nitrogen gas is not evolved. Even option D also I will discard because carbon dioxide gas is also not evolved. So these 2 options I will not even see. I will only and only go for this option A and B. And among these 2 options also I will see the most appropriate option. Okay, now the first one says magnesium is lighter element than dilute HCl. No, not at all. The second one says magnesium reacts with dilute HCl to produce hydrogen gas which helps in floating. Yes, this is absolutely correct. And with my prior knowledge, I have also understood, I know it also, that magnesium starts floating. How? Why? What is the reason? Because bubbles of hydrogen gas sticks to its surface, and that is why in the second test tube it starts floating. So among the 4 test tubes they are showing, this is the second test tube where they have shown magnesium starts floating because of this reason which I have already told you. So the best correct option is B among the 4. Next question. The table shown below gives information about 4 substances A, B, C and D. Okay. Now there are 4 substances A, B, C, D. Melting point is given. Electrical conductivity in solid as well as in liquid aqueous is also given. Now they have asked us identify ionic compounds from the above given substances. Okay. Ionic compounds. Focus on this ionic compounds. Ionic compounds are what, children? I know it. We know it. That it is the transfer of electrons. Now, the first thing we should know that when we show the transfer of electrons, for example, of sodium and chlorine, sodium transfers 1 electron towards chlorine and then sodium chloride is formed because of this positive and negative ions, it shows a very high electrostatic force of attraction. Another thing we also know that ionic compounds, they have huge high melting point and boiling point. According to this prior knowledge which I am having, I will see from the table that among the 4 options B, C and D, they are having the melting points above 1000, all the 3. But A option is having 295 only. That means among the 4, what I will do? I will discard. I will eliminate option A. Not at all. This is out of picture. It has no competition with all other 3. So I will only concentrate on the 3, B, C and D. Okay. Even with my prior knowledge, I also know this, that the melting point, of course, this is absolutely correct. Let me go to the electrical conductivity to check among B, C and D option. That they are saying when it is in solid state, it is poor. This is also poor. This is also poor. So this all 3 are absolutely correct according to my prior knowledge. Now let me check for the electrical conductivity in liquid and aqueous for B, C and D. Okay, the B substance says it is good, absolutely correct. C says it is good, okay, absolutely correct. D says it is poor. No, not at all. This is not correct. So I will also discard this option number D also. Now I'm left with option number B and C, which says that these 2 are absolutely correct. And with my knowledge, this also matches with this table. Now I will go for the options A, B, C, D, that what I should choose among the 4, the correct appropriate option. So according to me, with my prior knowledge and solving this answer, I've come to the conclusion that the B part is coming out to be absolutely correct, which matches with my answer also. So B is the correct option for this question. Okay, next question. Vinay observed that the stain of curry on a white shirt becomes reddish brown. Soap is scrubbed on it, but it turns yellow again when the shirt is washed with plenty of water. What might be the reason for his observation? Okay. Now, with my prior knowledge, I know that turmeric is a natural indicator. Okay. Another thing I also know that soap is basic. Okay. Another thing also I know, when turmeric in acid, it turns yellow, and when it is in basic, it turns reddish brown. Okay, this also I know it. So all this knowledge I am having it. So now I will see among all these options what is correct and what is not. Okay, let me check. Soap is acidic in nature? Not at all. I will put a cross. Soap is a basic in nature? Okay, yes, I know it. Turmeric is a natural indicator which gives reddish tinge in bases? Yes, absolutely correct. Turmeric is a natural indicator which gives reddish tinge in acids? No, not at all. So among the four, I have found that option number 2 and 3, I'm finding it absolutely correct. Now, option or options, I have to choose among the four. A says 1 and 2, B says 2 and 3, C says 1 and 4, and D says 2 and 4. So among the four, I have come to the conclusion that B is the correct appropriate answer. So I've chosen B for this question. Okay, now let us go to the next one. Okay, in which of the following setups would the bulb glow? Okay, they have shown you the 4 setups and they are asking where the bulb will glows. Now, with our prior knowledge, we know that in alcohols and glucose, the bulb will not glow because they do not ionize. They do not show the ions. They do not dissociate into ions. Okay, so among the four, first we will see that hydrochloric acid dilute HCl solution. Of course, it dissociate into ions, H positive and Cl negative. Of course, the bulb glows into it. And okay, now the second one, sugar solution. I told you, glucose sugar solution, no matter they are having ions, but they do not dissociate into ions. So this is also the wrong option. So the bulb will not glow. The third one is the alcohol. Again, in alcohol, it will not dissociate into ions. The last one is the lime water, calcium hydroxide. Again, here the bulb will glow because it dissociates into ions. So now I've seen that among the 4 setups, the first and the fourth one, in these 2 setups, the bulb will glow. That means it is proving, it is showing that it is dissociating into ions, and that is why, because of this flow of ions, the bulb glows. And so the correct option among the 4 will be B, that is the first and the fourth part. So this is finished, children. So for today, the questions are finished. Some of the questions which we have done from CBSE sample paper. So please keep on revising, children. And with this, I wind up the session for today. So God bless you, children. Thank you. Have a nice day.